Hello everyone, this is Crypto BitLaw, here with your blockchain legal brief, and today we're going to discuss how Russians are liquidating crypto at alarming rates in the United Arab Emirates in an effort to evade Western sanctions. But before we move on, please, if you like this channel and enjoy this content, hit that like button and subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. With that said, let's jump right on in. Alright, as we can see here, Reuters reports that Russians are liquidating crypto in the UAE as they seek safe havens. They say crypto firms in the United Arab Emirates, or the UAE, are being deluged with requests to liquidate billions of dollars of virtual currency as Russians seek a safe haven for their fortunes, company executives and financial sources said. Some clients are using cryptocurrency to invest in real estate in the UAE, while others want to use firms there to turn their virtual money into hard currency and stash it elsewhere, the sources said. One crypto firm has received lots of queries in the past 10 days from Swiss brokers asking to liquidate billions of dollars of Bitcoin because their clients are afraid Switzerland will freeze their assets, one executive said, adding that none of the requests had been for less than $2 billion. Quote, "We've had like 5 or 6 in the past 2 weeks. None of them have come off yet. They've sort of fallen over at the last minute, which is not rare, but we've never had this much interest," the executive said, adding that his firm normally receives an inquiry for a large transaction once a month. Quote, "We have one guy, I don't know who he is, but he came through a broker, and they're like, we want to sell 125,000 Bitcoin. And I'm like, what? That's $6 billion, guys. And they're like, yeah, we're going to send it to a company in Australia," the executive said. Switzerland's financial market supervisor declined to comment on cryptocurrency transaction volumes. The country's Economic Affairs Secretariat, or SECO, said in an emailed statement that crypto assets were subject to the same sanctions and measures Switzerland has imposed on, quote, normal Russian assets and individuals. So if a person is sanctioned, their crypto assets must also be frozen in Switzerland. Dubai, the Gulf's financial and business center and a growing crypto hub, has long been a magnet for the world's ultra-rich, and the UAE's refusal to take sides between Western allies and Moscow has signaled to Russians that their money is safe there. One real estate broker, whose company has partnered with a cryptocurrency service to help people buy property, said, "We've been seeing a lot of Russians and even Belarusians coming to Dubai and bringing whatever they can bring, even in crypto." A financial source in the UAE confirmed that Russians were buying property in Dubai, using crypto as a way of getting their money out of other jurisdictions and into the Gulf state. Cryptocurrency exchanges have said, while giving few details, that they are blocking the accounts of Russians sanctioned by the West over Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, which Russia calls a, quote, special operation. Major exchanges, such as Coinbase Global Incorporated and Binance, say they are taking steps to ensure that crypto is not used as a vehicle to evade sanctions, and that they collaborate with law enforcement on the issue. Still, as crypto offers users a high degree of anonymity, European countries such as Germany and Estonia have this week called for tighter oversight to snuff out any loopholes that could allow sanctions busting. 3 Western diplomats said they were increasingly alarmed by the number of Russians who, in recent weeks, were seeking a refuge in the UAE for their fortunes, including in property, and were wary that some could be acting on behalf of those under sanctions. 2 of the diplomats said they were skeptical that the UAE would crack down on Russian wealth in the Gulf state, which they said was predominantly held in Dubai, citing the country's neutral stance in the conflict. A third said they hoped the UAE, which is also a gold trading hub, understood the implications for its reputation and would take action. The UAE was put on a gray list this month for increased monitoring by financial crime and money laundering watchdog, the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF. The FATF cited risks in certain industries, including real estate agents and precious metals dealers. Dubai adopted a virtual assets law this week and established a regulator. The UAE's regulator said it was close to issuing regulations and has consulted on money laundering risks in the sector. The Dubai government's media office and the UAE Central Bank did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The UAE's foreign ministry said it had no further comment beyond previous statements that the UAE's government has a, quote, strong commitment to working with the FATF on areas for improvement in its anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing regime. Some experts say the relative transparency of cryptocurrency transactions, which are recorded on the blockchain ledger that underpins Bitcoin and other tokens, makes large-scale sanctions evasion difficult. The U.S. Treasury said on Monday that sanctions busting using crypto was, quote, not necessarily practicable, and called for vigilance from other companies in the industry. Two sources familiar with the matter said UAE companies had a reputational concerns about doing business with Russians, but felt the state's abstention at the UN Security Council when Russia vetoed a resolution condemning its invasion of Ukraine was a signal they should not impose restrictions on Russia. The UAE, which has deepened ties with Russia over the years, has not matched sanctions imposed by Western nations, and its central bank has not issued any guidance regarding the measures. Dubai, an attractive tourism destination, has long been popular with Russians, who are among the top visitors and purchasers of real estate even before the war and ensuing sanctions threw Russian economy into turmoil. Apurv Trivedi of Healy Consultants, which advises on setting up businesses, including crypto companies, said they had definitely been getting more interest from Russian clients. Quote, they're basically trying to protect themselves against the inflationary pressures that are happening against the Russian currency. So crypto has been a very good exit for them to manage the risks they're facing, Trivedi said. It's a good liquidity provider for them. Healy's Sami Fadala said a lot of the money coming from Russia has been moving into Dubai's real estate, citing both industry talk and their company's experience. Quote, people parking their money in dozens of apartments in the Marina downtown, Fadala said. Quote, we've seen a lot of Russians hedging their bets against the devaluation of the ruble by moving a lot of assets into crypto, and the UAE is relatively loose in terms of its regulation and authorities over transferring crypto here. All right, so a few points of note. I think that we pretty much all knew that this was happening to some extent. First, countries that were sanctioned like Iran and now Russia, they were previously seeking safe haven in places like Switzerland in order to stash their crypto and move their assets into crypto and find some sort of a haven or sanctuary from Western sanctions. But as a result of Switzerland actually clamping down on these sanctioned entities, individuals, and countries, they're now trying to seek a safe haven in the neutral United Arab Emirates. And it's a whole song remains the same sort of thing. As the ruble is being devalued, it's only natural that, these Russian oligarchs and billionaires and wealthy individuals are going to try to hedge their positions by moving funds into crypto with the hope of cashing out or parking assets, parking the actual funds into hard assets in things like real estate in Dubai, or just kind of cashing out in Dubai and holding it in either cash or some sort of other foreign denominated currency or something like gold, but using firms in Dubai as a means of evading sanctions through non-traditional rails that we have in the Western world. But what I think is also interesting, if I could draw your attention to this, note here that the Crypto Expo Dubai of 2022 is currently taking place in Dubai, March 16th and 17th, as this story is breaking. And here we could see it's a pretty much a top crypto brands exhibiting their products and services. They have a conference, they're giving awards. A lot of the main players are there. I know CZ from Binance, he's there. And just a lot of the top minds and leading executives in the digital asset space are currently at this Crypto Expo in Dubai. So I think it's interesting that, the story's breaking at the same time as this expo is taking place in Dubai. which is part of the United Arab Emirates, which is the same place where these oligarchs and billionaires and wealthy individuals are seeking to evade sanctions. So, yeah, I mean, things just keep getting stranger and stranger by the day. But yeah, I thought that this was an interesting development. Please let us know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that these oligarchs and billionaires are actually trying to unload their bags of crypto and digital assets in Dubai using the United Arab Emirates as a workaround to Western sanctions? If you do, let us know. And if you enjoy this content, please hit the like button and subscribe. Really appreciate that. And with that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.